The rolling hills in Southland make ideal growing country for Harraways oats, on land farmed by the Gardines since the late 1800s.
Our family came here in the 1876. This is when this area was just developed and people were starting to settle it.
5 generations later, they're still here, and conditions still lend themselves to growing quality oats. But both the oats and the farming methods have changed over the years, especially since Graham's dad started ploughing the farm in the 1940s.
I used one furrow plough. It took me about a whole fortnight to plough a paddock. Then I was transferred from there to a 3 furrow plough, which was pulled by 6 horses. The equipment that we have on the farm today is just so different.
These days, a paddock can be ploughed in half a day, and it's not only the machinery that has improved.
We used to put fertiliser on the ground then to increase the yield, but unfortunately when it came to harvest time they just fell over when they had a heavy shower of rain.
Thanks to selective breeding, tall, top-heavy oats are a thing of the past.
We've shortened the plant over a long period of time, and that makes it easier for the farmer to grow and to harvest.
Each year, over 1,500 breeding lines are planted with a number of different outcomes in mind.
So how we find the best oat is really its observation. So we're looking at each plant individually throughout the season, and we're looking for something that's got, say, good disease resistance, good yield, doesn't fall over and lie on the ground, so it's easy to harvest.
Farmers like plump oats that are easy to harvest using their very efficient modern machinery. It replaces the combination of horsepower, manual labour and steam engines of earlier generations.
In those days we cut the oats by a binder, which put it into sheaves, and then we had to bring those sheaves together, about 8 sheaves, to make a stook. And then it stayed there for about a fortnight, and by that time we gathered it up and put it into a great big stack. Now that stack would be as big as that shed over there. It'd be there for about 3 months, and then the contractor came with a steam engine and he threshed those oats and they finished up in the mill.
Today, purpose-built modern machinery harvests and threshes the oats in the paddock before trucking them to the granary for storage. Another machine bales any of the straw destined for use as winter feed. The seed trials use smaller machinery, reminiscent of earlier days. But before they're selected for these trial plots, the plants have to show signs of the characteristics Harraways and the farmers want, which means checking thousands of plants selected from different parents, planted in short, easily identified rows.
The material that we're developing, if you imagine it's in a pipeline and it works its way through that pipe over the years, we refine it, we select it, and it comes out the other end as a variety that hopefully is what the farmers want and also what Harraways want. It's very simply just looking at each plant one at a time to find florets that have, say, 2 grains in each floret, like this one here. If they have 3, we tend to get one smaller one, which is not what Harraways want. They want 2 nice, big, uniform grains. So I'm looking at that, I'm looking at the colour, the size and the uniformity, really.
The farmers need similar characteristics when it comes to harvest, so the oat's ripeness dictates the time of harvest.
We're wanting to grow an oat that's well filled. From Harraways' perspective, they want that because that gives them a higher milling percentage. We also want oats with good colour, so there's no discoloration in their product. So we are conscious of harvesting our oats when they're ready rather than leaving them, and if necessary we'll use our grain dryer to be able to do that.
Before it's stored, the grain is dried to below 14% moisture, then screened to remove any extra material and smaller oats.
So that gives them an oat that's very clean and a very high milling percentage when processed. So from a consumer's point of view, I think it is important to know that they're getting a good quality oat supplied to the mill.
That quality begins with the land itself and a soil structure benefiting from years spent in pasture.
We believe it's important to restore the soil structure and the nitrogen, so we won't grow any more than 4 or 5 cereal crops in a row before it goes back into pasture, and it's generally in pasture anywhere between 5 to 10 years.
It's a long-term approach, typical of many family-run Southland farms, like the Gardines.
We contract oats for Harraways with approximately 30 other growers, and I think they're all family operations. They also have the same ethos of a strong sense of stewardship and a long-term vision of where they're wanting to be farming. I think for Harraways, who also are a family operation and are in there for the long term, they have a similar outlook.
The heavy soil, high summer rainfall and long growing season combine to make Southland ideal for growing oats. And for the farmers, oats are an ideal crop to grow.
I think farmers enjoy growing oats in this area because it's the best area to grow oats in New Zealand and probably the world. And it's a crop that's used and milled directly for human consumption. So it's a very efficient form of producing food that suits the environment that we live in.